Yeah, you don't get to this level of excellence by mistake, right?
Right.
It comes with, dedication, grit, hard work. It also comes from criticism. In the sports world, right? You get coaching. Your coach's job is to
Right.
critique you and help you get better. You also build this strong voice inside your head of a self-critic. You're always trying to improve yourself, but that self-critic can also slow you down. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I only played 5 years.
Exactly.
And that those limiting beliefs can really halt your progress. And again, when you have a community of people where you're sitting at these tables and someone's like, oh, this, and I'm like, can I tell you your story? Can I tell you how inspiring that is? Someone did that to me, and it fires me up to really buckle down and believe in myself, to know that because I didn't get to where I was without other people believing in me.
Exactly.
And you do that through youth and your development.
All right, what's going on, everybody? We are here with Alex Deibold, pro snowboarder, Olympian. We're gonna get into a little bit about your story, talk a little bit about your journey into your career and where you are now. We're here with PAC in Nashville for their event out here. Here sharing a lot of insights with players, NFL players, people like yourself, that all have these kind of walks of lives, and I think we really want to be able to amplify those stories. So thank you for taking the time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be here. Excited to be here in Nashville. First time in the city. First time interacting with this sort of caliber of athlete. I've met a lot of pro athletes in my life, but getting to interact with these guys from the NFL, a couple NHL guys here, a couple MLB guys, so inspiring and rewarding.
It is. I mean, the energy in the rooms when you're walking around is unmatched. It's everyone's kind of bought into this same vision, and everyone's here to get better, which I think that's extremely powerful in itself. And you come out of these events and you're motivated and you're ready to tack on the next thing. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So your first time in Nashville, what's your thoughts on Nashville?
A lot of energy in this city. I live out in the mountains. I've spent time in cities before, but for the last few years, I've been up in the mountains. And to come to Nashville, sort of what I've heard, didn't know about hot chicken. That's a big thing here.
Huge, yeah.
Had to go and check that out.
Hattie V's, I think, is the big one down here.
There's so many. There's so many options. But sort of one of the things you hear about is bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. And, being so close, luckily not being right downtown, but being so close, we can walk down there. The energy down there, Music City, is insane. We went out one night, every single bar, one after the other, had live music playing in it. It was just incredible. And to go out with a new group of guys and experience that sort of thing it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that Broadway area is crazy because not only is every bar full of live music, it's 3 stories, and every story has its own band playing.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
It is. No, it's cool. There's definitely a ton of energy out here, but want to talk about your story. Tell me a little bit about when you got on the board, how you got into snowboarding, and how that was introduced to you.
I've been on a snowboard pretty much my entire life. Skiing, snowboarding was very much a family thing for us. I'd go up with my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I started snowboarding at age 4, fell into competition totally on my own. One weekend came around, I was 8 years old. I was like, hey mom, can I do this? Did a local contest, loved it. It set the hook. And, from there on out, I was really bought in. My family moved so I could go to a specialized ski academy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would snowboard in the morning and go to school in the afternoon. And so I started competing professionally when I was 15, graduated from high school. I had a college acceptance letter, and I got an invite onto the U.S. snowboard team. And so I compete in snowboard cross. You have 4 guys, 4 girls competing head to head, go through an obstacle course together, real similar to motocross. It had just been put into the Olympics. And so they created the U.S. snowboard team. I was on the inaugural border cross team. And so I just started chasing that path. I decided to defer my enrollment in school, started competing internationally, X Games, those sort of events. 2010, Vancouver Olympics. I was 23 years old. In my brain, my ego, I was like, I'm going to make it. Not quite there. It takes a while to develop and get there. I went to the Vancouver Games as a staff member. I was the equivalent of a water boy. I was there to support my teammates,
Wow.
work on their equipment. But I was competing, right? Like it's not like I came out of nowhere. I was on the World Cup circuit. I was competing at the highest level. I just didn't quite make it onto the Olympic team, but I got to go, swallowed a ton of pride to be on the sidelines, support them.
Seriously.
But it gave me some really valuable insight in what it's like to be on the biggest field of play that we have. And it lit a fire under my ass, right? Like I really buckled back down, ground really hard. We got 4 years in between Olympics.
Right.
It's not exactly like next season. But going into the 2014 Olympics, I was the first athlete to punch my ticket. You have to finish on the podium in a qualifying event. I punched my ticket to go to the Sochi Games in 2014. And I think because of that experience, when I went as a staff member, I got to see behind the curtain, right? Like they are bright lights. It's not what we're used to. And I was able to block all that out. Really fortunate to come home with a medal. And the value in that was because of the experience I had when I was, on my way up, able to like take a step back, be like, my coach offered, he's like, hey, we want you to come be the wax tech. I was a wax technician and it sucked. And I'm super grateful that I swallowed my pride and said yes to that because it helped me succeed later in life.
100%. And I think there's something interesting there, right? You look at, like, it doesn't matter what industry it is, right? Like business, sports, right? When you kind of walk every path along the way, you have a different level of appreciation for when you do, in your case, medal, right?
Yep.
Like you're gonna appreciate the wax technician, you're gonna appreciate the water boy, like you're gonna appreciate them that much more because you did that because you said, I'm gonna bite my pride and I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to get into it. And I think there's a level of motivation there, right? Where it's not linear, right? You had your path to be able to get there. Someone else may have qualified a different way, but you had a very unique experience in that approach.
Anytime you see an elite athlete like at the top of their field, it's really easy to focus in on that one person that's achieving. There is a team of people behind that person in every walk of life.
Yeah.
And if you can really like have an appreciation for that, I call it's the team behind the team, right? I was part of the team behind the team. So when I did go to the Olympics, I was always thanking the cooks. I was thanking the staff that was helping us get our equipment. And it gave me this appreciation for that other aspect of life. But I think, athletically, it gave me insight into like how to block out all the bright lights, the noise, the media, all that sort of stuff and focus on my craft.
For sure. I want to go back a little bit, right? You talked about that time when, you were 15 years old and you got or a little bit older at that point, but you got your acceptance letter into college and then, had to make that decision. Talk a little bit about like your thought process, like your family and involvement at that time as to saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to decide not to go to college and I'm going to go pursue this dream of playing in the USA.
It was a tough choice. I got accepted to University of Vermont. They have a limited deferment, so I could defer my acceptance, for a couple years. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go see what this pathway looks like. I have a really unique opportunity to like be on this team. I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, like I can go back to school. And it's a slow grind. Like it's not for me. It was a slow grind for me. I wasn't one of those athletic talents that like stepped onto the field and sort of had it.
Yeah.
And those first few years I was like really bought in, but gaining experience, and I got a little bit better every year. And so I just sort of kind of kept pushing that option down the road. And it if I could go back, I might do it differently. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But I think my family never pushed me into anything. They never said, you have to go to college, you have to snowboard, you have to compete, any of this. But they did say, if you're going to do something, you have to be all in on it, right? Like that was the only rule, was like, if you're going to do something, we want to see you commit. And so when I accepted my nomination onto the national team, I was bought all in, and I looked at that in the long term, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I had the support of my family. Emotionally, right?
Yeah.
Financially, I was on my own. My parents were like, you're gonna go do this? Like,
it's on you to
you're
figure it out.
You're paying your rent,
Yeah.
You're doing that, you're paying your own bills. And so, but I had that like emotion, I had that support from home, and I was like, I gotta try. I had wanted to be an Olympian from the time I was 10 years old. 1996 Atlanta Games. I remember like Michael Johnson in his golden shoes. They had the Kerry Strug in the Magnificent Seven. I remember like seeing that and being like, oh my God, like I want that. And so, a few years later, I had the opportunity to like take that pathway, and I was like, this is what I want. Like I felt it. And so it was challenging to step away from the college route, but like I knew in my heart and my soul, like that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I mean, everyone's got the big dreams, but you put in the time and the effort and the belief to be able to make that happen. So talk to me a little bit about, when you were going through that qualifying time of your life to get into the Olympics. Like what was the thought process? What was kind of like the work ethic that you were putting in? You saw obviously the opportunity to be able to do it, but it's obviously a grind. You're talking about the elite of the elite in that space, right? Like it's not just like, hey, you got a bid, congratulations. Like no, like you're proven that you deserve that spot. So what was that process like? What were you doing training wise, mentally? How did that all look for you?
I mean, that experience in 2010, like I got to feel it and be there, and it reminded me like how badly I wanted that. So I buckled back down and I got back in the gym. I started working with my trainers. I like really took my commitment and training to like the next level. 4 dudes, that's all they take. They take 4 guys or girls per discipline. That's it. And so it is a small crew. And I just, I buckled back down. For me, what I figured out, I got strong in the gym, but I also explored other pathways of like, how can I get strong mentally? And I found, for me, the method was, I found success through focusing in on the things that I can control. 100% control, right? Like if you put that goal out there, like I want to win, you don't have control over that. Sure. I'm on the field of play with other competitors. I don't control what line they take or where they're going or the weather. We compete outside. We don't have any control over that sort of stuff. And so I narrowed my focus in on like the things that I had 100% control of. What was my breathing like? Where was my vision? Was I going to be aggressive or was I going to be tactical? And when I narrowed my focus way down in just onto those things that I could control, it allowed me to block out a lot of distractions. And I could see events that I went and competed in as a success, even when I didn't stand on the podium. Right. And so by knocking out a lot of those other distractions and like really bringing my focus into this narrow point, it allowed me to find success because I wasn't thinking about like, I want to win. I was thinking about what are the things that I can do that will help me win.
Right. Yeah. Put yourself in the best position possible to be able to win. Like, to your point, the people you're competing against are also doing their processes and their things to be able to put themselves in the best position to succeed. All you can control is really what I'm going to do to put myself in that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it worked out. It panned out for me. I'm really grateful. And it's interesting. I think one of the challenges, like I was very fortunate to have a long career. I knew I wanted to be an Olympian from the time I was 10. Started competing when I was 8, professional at 15. I'm 39 now. Like I did that for 19 years. That's a long time. Sports, they have a finite timeline on them. You're an athlete, like you're never going to do it forever. Right. I'm an outlier in how long I got to do it. But by doing it for a long time, it was like, what's next? Right? I started asking that question, years ago, like, what am I going to do after that? And the transition out is hard. Yeah. Like that's what this pack community is about. Is like that transition out is hard. How can I take all of those things that I've learned as an athlete that helped me be one of the best in the world and apply that to other areas of my life? Yeah. And I'm grateful to be part of this pack community now because we have mentors and people here that can help us translate those skills into other areas of my life so I can find success off the field of play.
No, yeah, that's for sure. I think you hit something that's extremely prominent in all of sports, right? It's that shift in identity when the sport's taken away from you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, who am I? Like I just devoted my whole life to this. Now it's gone. It's gone in an external way. It's always going to be a part of you.
Yes.
But it's who am I now in this world? And there's so many athletes that struggle with that. And it doesn't even have to be at the pro level, right? You
Agreed.
have these high school athletes, right, that they're playing sports from the moment they're 5 years old. They're trying their best to maybe make it to college. And then if you make it to college, then it's like that percentage shrinks that much more, right? But the devotion of time and energy and resources, family, right, money, all these things that go into it. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I didn't make it to college now, or I got hurt, whatever that situation may be. And then you don't know what to do with your life after that. And I think that is such a big struggle in the sports world, where your identity is just stripped from you and then you have nothing.
Yeah. And I think the thing about the pro athlete community that I love and appreciate is that I didn't play a single down in NFL. I didn't play Pee Wee
Right.
football. I'm surrounded in this room, with a bunch of NFL
Mhm.
guys. Immediate connection. I can talk to these guys across the table and be like, oh, you did this, you ground this way. Like, what are the challenges that you dealt with?
Mhm.
And as someone outside that field, I'm like, oh, you're in the NFL, you made it. You guys are
Right.
superheroes.
Mhm.
You have a quick conversation with them and they are all dealing with the same shit that I'm dealing with.
Right.
Right? Like identity crisis. I wasn't that good, like, oh, I only played 5 years.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you were in the NFL.
I know.
And so that commonality,
true.
it creates this immediate bond.
Mhm.
And for me, dealing with getting to interact with athletes outside of my own Olympic bubble, man, has it been enlightening, motivating, inspiring. Like, hey, people from a lot of areas, walks of life that I didn't grow up around, that have insight into other areas that I want to explore. And there are people here to help support you in that journey. And I think that there is so much power in coming together. It's hard, right? You got to be vulnerable. Like, it's a little bit scary to put,
Mhm.
especially being an athlete, being a man,
Yeah.
being strong. You got to drop the guard down.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that are there to help you succeed in that next realm. I mentioned before, the team behind the team, we are now building that next
Exactly.
team behind the team.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think for me, that's something that's always, I think, helped me is just that commonality when you hear other people's stories and their struggles that they're dealing with, being like, okay, I'm not the only one dealing with this,
Yes,
right?
huge.
It gives you such a peace of mind, because you think it's a you problem when it's really a we problem.
Yes.
It's we're all dealing with this struggle. We're all dealing with this identity crisis, like you mentioned, because you go through your whole life, you're this person, and then all of a sudden you're not, and then you're like, okay, there's something wrong with me.
Yes.
Which it's so far from the truth. And when you're here around all these other people that are kind of dealing with it, and like how you mentioned, right? Oh, I only played 5 years in the NFL, right? Like, look at the common man, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you did it.
Yeah.
You made it happen, and you gotta, I think, acknowledge what you've been able to achieve. I don't know about you, but I struggle with this too. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for the things that we've been able to accomplish, right? And there's something that always kind of sticks with me and helps me with that is look back at your life 5 years from before, right? And see the progression that you've actually made. We're so focused on tomorrow and the future,
yes,
right? And I think that just comes from the ambition as being motivated people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But during that journey of life, you have to give yourself those pats in the back and acknowledge what you've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, you don't get to this level of excellence by mistake, right? It comes with dedication, grit, hard work. It also comes from criticism. In the sports world, right? You get coaching. Your coach's job is to critique you and help you get better. You also build this strong voice inside your head of a self-critic. You're always trying to improve yourself, but that self-critic can also slow you down. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I only played 5 years.
Exactly.
And those limiting beliefs can really halt your progress. And again, when you have a community of people where you're sitting at these tables and someone's like, oh, this, and I'm like, can I tell you your story? Can I tell you how inspiring that is? Someone did that to me, and it fires me up to really buckle down and believe in myself, to know that I'm gonna, because I didn't get to where I was without other people believing in me.
Exactly.
And you do that through youth and your development. But I'm a grown ass man now. I got a family, I got responsibilities, and so now doing that with a peer group, it feels more special, right? It feels more rewarding, and so I do think that a piece that you touched on there is the isolation too, this is, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
I'm the only one. You feel alone. You're used to being in the locker room, having teammates, right? Like you have this group of people that you're moving through life with. You retire,
They're gone.
the team's gone.
Yeah.
And so it feels so painful and isolating. And you step into these rooms and there are so many people that are feeling the exact same way that you are. Like first and foremost, you're like, there's not something wrong with me.
Right.
I'm not the only one feeling this way. And now I have a group of people that understand my experience and can help me move through that.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to people outside the sports world that have been at that level and they're like, yeah, but you did this. You're great. And it's like, yes, and now I have to figure out what to do next. Just because I was great at one thing doesn't mean I don't feel alone and messed up. And so I can talk to these guys and be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Oh, you did this? How'd you do that? Right. And you can see, you meet guys in this space that are through different parts of that journey, right? Like I feel like I've made some progress through, and I see guys that are farther behind than me, and I see guys that are farther in front than me, and I can help the guys that are farther behind and lean on the guys that are farther in front of me. And it's inspiring. It's filling me with a lot of motivation. I'm going to need that in those times when I start to feel alone again.
Yeah.
But damn, it feels good.
100%. You brought up the self-critic,
Yeah.
right? How do you process that self-critic? How do you work through that guy, right?
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's very easy to try to just shift those thoughts and say, well, no, I can do it. But it's not really sustainable, right? Because those self-critic thoughts get louder and louder sometimes.
I think PAC has equipped me with a process to build a system, right? In sports, you build a system to get better. I know about how that works. I can look at progression. They're helping me build a system. When that inner critic shows up, this is what I can do. Take note of it, look at it, talk to your peers, right? Setting us up for like long-term support, but like building a system when that inner critic gets, really loud. All right, these are the steps I'm going to take. What can I do? Okay, next time, maybe it's not quite as loud. Like I'm going to take these few steps, right? When I was an athlete, I'm like, oh, I have this problem. I got to do X, Y, and Z. Now when that inner critic shows up, like I have these tools in place to look at, okay, this is what's happening. This is what I need to do, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. There's been a common theme amongst all the pods that we've done this week, and it's processes.
Yes.
Without processes, you're not going to be able to achieve anything, right? You need a process for everything. When you go to the gym, you have a process and a plan for that, right? When you're taking care of your mental, you need a process, right? Everything entails some sort of process, and then comes the execution on that process. But even to execute, right? Like you got to not only build the process, but it's got to be a process that's sustainable and doable, right? Because you could put all these things in place, but if it's just that hard to achieve the steps in those processes, you're going to be burnt out. You're going to be like, this isn't worth it, right? But you got to put these processes in place that are also attainable to achieve.
Yeah, and it's also like being around people that remind you that you've done that before, and I've moved into careers and I'm going from being the best in the world at something to being a beginner.
Yeah,
I'm used
which
to
is humbling.
It's humbling as hell. But you're used to excellence, and you get far enough in life, and you expect excellence out of yourself. And when you don't achieve that, you're like, I must not be good at this. When I started my sport, when I started snowboarding, I wasn't good at it. Yeah. You have to remind yourself, like, it takes time, and having people to remind you of that and help you learn how to navigate those systems. Like, one of the other things is like, it's easy, the inner critic, thinking this, beating myself up, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, whatever. The first thing is you have to take action. You have to do something.
Exactly.
And they're helping us like build these systems that help you take the first step. You don't have to run. You got to learn how to, you got to learn how to crawl to walk, and building those like smaller steps when life keeps knocking us down to like take a step. And whether that's looking in your journal or talking with, one of your coaches, or leaning on your community, one of my new teammates, like those things will help me move forward. Because I know, like right now, like I am as fired up as it's going to be. In 6 months from now, that might be different, and I got to be able to like have a community of people to lean on to help me take the, start back over,
Right.
take the next step.
No, 100%. It's not a linear,
No.
progression. It's a very up and down ride in life in general, right? Like there's days where you're going to be super motivated. There's days where you're not going to be motivated. As an Olympian though, right? You've medaled, like you accomplish it. How has that part of your life taken you to where you are today mentally, and what have you learned from that?
That's a good question. I mean, I believe that, I got to where I'm at today because of humility. Sometimes that humility can be a disservice. An Olympic medal is a key, right? That's a key that unlocks a lot of doors. And understanding how to utilize those doors that you're opening or walking through is really challenging. It's really scary. But at the same time, being able to remind myself when I walk into a new meeting or a new room, or I'm thinking about another opportunity, it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, God, do I really want to be an entrepreneur? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I know that I am capable of greatness, but like, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
And being able to remind myself that I have achieved something at the highest level, I am capable. It reminds me that like I am capable and it is possible. Some of the work we're doing here is reminding ourselves of the character traits that got us to that position, writing them down, and then being like, yo, this is hard. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Right.
Look at all these hard things that I did. I can do that. Reminders, like tactile, visual things that will help progress me forward, because it's really easy to forget.
Yeah.
Right. Like I talked to one of the guys here, rookie year, caught a game-winning interception. I'm like, where's that ball at? He's like, that's in storage. I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't have that thing out? Like, you don't have to put it on your mantle for everyone to see, but like, maybe
it's a you thing.
Yeah. Maybe in your room as like, because I could see him struggling. My Olympic medal lives in a bedside drawer. I don't look at it. It's not out all the time, but it's close enough where I can take it out, and the best part about it is sharing it with people.
Yeah.
But it's a reminder of like what I'm capable of. And so I'm chatting with this guy and he's like, oh, that's in storage. I'm like, dude, get that thing out. He's struggling right now.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of the greatness that you are capable of and use that. If you want to, you can advertise that. You don't have to put it on the mantle. It doesn't have to be out front and define you, but it's such a powerful reminder of like what you are capable of. And so being in PAC and reminding myself of what I'm capable of and using that energy to move forward into the next chapter of my life is powerful.
It's interesting because there's like this, it's a tough balance, right? It's
really hard.
It's like this concept of humility, right?
Yep.
Which you talk about, and confidence, right? The people that are uber confident are like, oh, this guy's cocky and arrogant, right? But the guy that's very humble lacks confidence, right? He's just kind of like to himself and just not out there, right? But there's a need for both, right?
Yes.
Like you can't be the super arrogant, cocky guy because people are not going to resonate with you, right? You got to have that humility to create that sort of connection. Whereas you want to be humble and you want to have that humility, but you need that confidence to be able to understand what you can achieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any sort of thoughts on like how you balance that kind of confidence? It's not easy. I personally struggle with that a lot too, right? It's like when I'm here, it feels like, oh, maybe I'm too high. I need to bring myself down. Well, now I'm like, well, now I'm too low. Like I need to get here. It's like, it's a back and forth kind of like tug of war battle.
I think workshopping it through with your peers, like the people that, I've been fortunate to be through programs similar to this, not as powerful in the past. And the people that I connected with from that, like I check in with all the time. I did it years ago, right before I retired. And some of those people that I did it with, I'm still in touch with every once in a while, like a couple weeks. I haven't heard from this person in a while. Shoot them a quick text. How things going? People are succeeding. Hype them up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some people are not doing well. I'm available, like text message, because I built a connection with them through sport. And so that's what I'm taking away from PAC. The amount of phone numbers I've got where I'm going to check in with guys. How's things going? Oh, you're creating this new brand. It's not going well. I'm struggling with this. Have you talked to these people? Hey, remember what you're capable of. And so the same thing goes both ways of like, dude, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this shit. And someone will hype me up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, oh, things are going really well. I'm firing on all cylinders. Let me check in with somebody that's better than me at this so they can keep me humble. Yo, don't make these mistakes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that this is why I've been here. And connecting with people in different areas that are, again, at different processes in that journey, whether that's through retirement, in their career, there's real value in being able to hype yourself up and keep yourself humble at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's also like the willingness to help people, but also the willingness to accept the help
to receive
when you need it.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard thing to do.
It's your ego coming in. It's like, oh, you don't need the help. You don't need the help. You don't need the help. Like it's like, you know, you need the help, but you don't want to accept it because it's like you're giving someone else power.
You don't want to ask for it.
Yeah.
You don't want to ask for it because it feels weak.
Right.
And there's a lot of strength and power in being able to say, hey, I need help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to talk about the injury that you had late in your career.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously that was devastating considering the timing. You had already qualified for the Olympics at that point. Talk about like where you were mentally when all that happened.
So qualified in 2014, won a medal. Next 4 years, 2018, going into that season as elite as I have ever been. The season before those Olympics was the best season I ever had in my career. Going to those games, don't qualify. I was the alternate. Like, I was so close that I got brought over to Korea to sit on the sidelines. Sport we do is dangerous.
Yeah.
And in case someone got hurt, and like that crushed me. And that was the first time in my life where I was sitting on the sidelines. I'm like, what am I doing after this? Like, this pain, this hurts. And so I sort of started to veer away from sports a little bit and think about what's next. I got my first corporate job, but that fire like still burned within me.
Yeah.
And I recommitted, right? I was like, I tried this out. I learned, I stepped into the workplace and I was like, okay, learn these things. I struggled because I was like fresh into it, and step back into sport. I was like, I still got it, right? I still have it. And qualified for the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, China. And like, they named the team like less than 2 weeks before we go to the field of play, right? Like, it's right before, punch my ticket, right? Like, here's your golden ticket. You're going to the Olympics. That career journey of like making it, failing again,
and then back up.
Back up. I was over, we had one more event right before the Olympics, and I believe that I had the success I did going to those games because I didn't put myself on ice. It's not like we won we fit in the NFL, like, we're going to the playoffs. We're just not going to play anymore. You might rest a little bit in between there and go throughout strategically, but like, you got to be firing on all cylinders if you want to succeed at the end. And so we had one event before the games, and I was like, I gotta be firing on all cylinders. I got to sharpen the tip of that spear before I go over to this biggest event. And just made like a small mistake. Like, seen the crash, doesn't look like that much. I got a TBI, traumatic brain injury. I was in a medically induced coma for 36 hours.
Wow.
And I woke up in the hospital, and I was in Italy, woke up in the hospital. My wife is sitting at the foot of my bed, 7 months pregnant. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, you had a bad crash. I'm like, I can see that. I'm like, what day is it? And she's like, it's Monday. Monday was the day that I was getting on a plane to fly over to the Olympics. And so I like looked at her and I was like, I'm probably not going to the games, huh? And she's like, no, like, you're not. Closed my eyes, went back to sleep. It hurt in that moment. Like, there was so much pain. Like, I had broken over that threshold. I had punched my golden ticket, and I didn't get to go over there and compete. And it hurt. I think with time, you can look back, and I'm grateful. I've been in my career for a long time. Like, I walked out of the hospital on my own 2 feet, and that's not true of everyone that I grew up competing with.
Yeah.
And so I was able to like shift into this mindset of gratitude, like, my wife is healthy, my soon to be child is healthy. And I used that experience to be like, it's time. Like, it's time to think about what's next.
Yeah.
And it forced the timeline up a little bit faster than I was ready for, which is part of the pain of this transition, right? It's not like you think about—
You didn't make that personal choice.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I had that choice taken away from me a little bit. And you think about people who transition in their careers, like people are working for a while and they're like, yo, I'm ready for a change. They make that choice and say, I'm going to go try something else.
Yeah.
I had been thinking about it, but the universe was like, nope.
Exactly.
It's time.
Exactly.
And so that transition out was hard, but it takes time. And I wish that I had people like, pack around me then, because that's like, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But having that community around you to like support you in that process
Absolutely
is super important. And so, yeah, I didn't get to I didn't get to necessarily write the end of my story the way that I wanted, but I feel gratitude that I got to do something that I loved for as long as I did, and I got to move on, with my mind and body, because that's not the way it works for everybody.
Yeah.
And so it hurt. It taught me a lot, like you want to talk about overcoming adversity,
exactly,
being able to share your story. And it's just a good reminder of like practicing gratitude for what you have now instead of thinking what could have been or what needs to be next.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just being in that moment and just being appreciative of what you have, where you've been, and the potential that you have in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's another page in your chapter of life. And like you talked about things that you can and can't control. Unfortunately, that's one of those things that you just couldn't control. And the universe had a plan for you, and that in that moment, it was an unfortunate event.
Yeah.
But to your point, it made you stronger. It brought you so much perspective on things, right? Your family is healthy. You now have a story to tell that in that moment, you're like, this is not the story I wanted, but it is my story. And through that story, I'm now able to help maybe people that are dealing with certain situations, adversity, right? Like now you can now provide a level of perspective to other people that are also going through the same thing, which is extremely powerful.
And relatable too, right? Like not everyone can relate to winning a medal at the Olympics or playing in the NFL or making it to the big leagues on the baseball field. But everyone has had to overcome some sort of adversity. They've had to face challenges. Whether or not you play sports or not, you've had to deal with injuries, right? And so it makes, I can share that story in a way that is relatable and connect with more people, right? Connect with more people.
Exactly. Do you know Inky Johnson?
I don't.
Okay. You got to look up Inky Johnson.
Okay.
So Inky Johnson, I believe, played for Tennessee in college, football player.
Yep.
He was projected to be a first round pick, maybe even a top 10 pick. Like, life about to change.
Yep.
Going to be one of the best DBs in the NFL, like high prospect. In one of his last games of the season, right before the draft, he's ready to roll, getting in. He goes in for a hit, and when he hits, right, he kind of like leads with his shoulder, and he hits something here in the nerves of his neck. Completely lost complete control of his right arm. Ended up having to amputate his arm, and now kind of has like, just up to here of his arm.
Yep.
And of course, football career over forever.
Yep. Done.
And he now is like one of the biggest motivational speakers. He goes to every NFL game, or every NFL team. He's talking to the large corporations, and it's all about that, right?
Yeah.
He's like, my path, my whole life thought was I'm going to be an NFL player, and I'm going to be a good one at it, right? Like everything was pointing that way, but something said, no, it's not. Like you did this to this point, and now on, you're actually going in a completely different direction. It's going to be very dark in that moment, but here you are using that pain for power, and you turn to be one of the most motivational people now that exists because of what you went through. Your life was stripped from you. Your identity was stripped from you. Everything was taken away from you. But that's where that personal choice comes in to say, hey, I'm not going to let this ruin me, right? Because you could fall into that dark place and say, screw the world. Like I had everything and now it's gone. And you have all this anger and all this just frustration now. And all of a sudden it's like, no, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen, right? Because I'm still here, right? I'm alive. I'm well. I can now use this story as motivation. And he has done a phenomenal job of kind of shifting that narrative, which I think, very relatable to you.
He's probably, and this is the thing, like you get so focused on a singular thing, it's hard. Sometimes you can lose the forest in the trees.
Yeah.
And I bet that he has gone farther in life because of that than even if he had gone to play in the NFL. Now timeline in the NFL is like 2 years.
Yeah.
Talking to some of these guys that have played longer than that is incredible. How long, he can tell that story forever.
Exactly.
He's got a long runway.
And the level of impact now that he's been able to make compared to, let's say he played an NFL career, he's changed lives over the course of his lifetime that he maybe never changed, which at the end of the day, we're all here for a purpose. And I think it's all for a purpose of good, right? So why, unfortunately things happen, but at the end of the day, we're here to help people through the adversities that we face.
Yeah. And how can you translate your experience to have a meaningful impact on the people that you meet and the people around you?
Yeah, 100%. So now you're right, your lifestyle now. Talk to me about what that is. I know we were kind of talking offline, a lot of hobbies now, into golf, right? Kind of letting yourself kind of open up into, new things and finding your new identity today.
I think for me, I was very fortunate to have some success in my career. The field of play that I'm on, like, there's not a lot of money there.
Right.
When I decided to retire, like, it was time to get a job right away.
Yeah.
And so I dove into that. I am the snowboard program director for a youth sports organization, right? Staying close to my field of play.
Cool.
I'm an expert in that, but there feels like a piece that is missing, right? Like, being a professional athlete, when you leave that, like, there's a hole that is created that feels really hard to fill. I am really grateful that I had an opportunity. I'm learning and I'm growing. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
Having conversations while I've been here at PAC, someone's like, how do you feel about it? I'm like, I don't really like my job. I kind of hate my job. Why do you hate your job? I'm like, because I'm not good at it, right? I'm used to excellence. And so going through some of the work here has been like, actually, the job that I have right now may align with my values a little bit more than I can see. I'm in that, like, dark place where I'm used to excellence and I'm learning and growing and taking those steps. PAC has, like, provided some tools that, like, I cannot wait to implement, because it will help me professionally develop faster by translating my athletic skills into workplace tools that help, they help me as an athlete. They will now help me in the workplace. So it's helped me, like, reframe maybe my perspective. It's given me some new tools to move forward. And also, I'm scared, right? Like, I'm scared to try other things.
Yeah.
And I've been exposed to some opportunities of other options that I could go and do after that with a group of peers that are going to go through the same thing. And so, like, feeling definitely, like, more motivated and inspired to, like, maybe put myself in that uncomfortable zone a little bit farther out from where I've been. And so I want to take the tools that I'm learning. I want to implement them right now. I want to be exposed to these other career path opportunities and say, like, yeah, maybe I do want to go into tech, or maybe I do want to think about real estate.
Right.
And those opportunities are scary when there are pros around. And now, like, hey, how did you do this? What are the biggest mistakes I need to look out for?
Exactly.
Can you support me in building a system or a process that will help me get through this in a way that is a little bit easier?
Right.
Because we're all going to fail, right? If you can learn from people to avoid their failures first, you're gonna get there faster, which is what, as an athlete, we want.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, like, I'm grateful. I am struggling. I'm in a good spot, but I am in a place now where I'm, like, more motivated to go back to what I'm doing right now. And I'm also motivated to, like, explore other opportunities and options that are around me with a group of people that understand that hole that I feel that I'm trying to fill.
Yeah. No, there's excitement in new, right? There's fear in new.
Definitely,
right?
fear.
But there's also a high level of new. It's like when you open up that book for the first time, or you try that first food for the first time, right? Like, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I'm excited to try it. And then all of a sudden you're like, damn, I like this, right?
Yeah.
So there's a give and take with it, but there's there's that other side of it that when you do it and you realize is that you do it, you're like, damn, this is pretty cool. Like yesterday with the curling.
Yes, I was just about to go there with the
that
curling.
was me. I'm watching these guys curl. I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to do this, you know, like I'm scared I'm going to mess up and look dumb out there, you know, like this fear getting in your head. It's like, when are you going to be able to do this again? Right? Like go out there. The moment I got on the ice, I'm like, ooh, this feels cool. Like, this is nice. Then you do that first push off the block and you're like, damn, that was pretty cool. And now I'm like, I want to do that again.
Yeah, dude, you had a team, right?
Yeah,
like we had a little mini locker room. Like we came up with the team name, we fired up. Like people came up to me like, man, you were really into that. And I'm like, yeah, I got to like have a new team. We motivated, we tried something new. It was fun. It was silly, like when am I going to go curling?
Right,
like,
exactly.
It's not like, hey, let's go try this out. Oh, by the way, this guy over here, he played 14 years in the NHL. Like, I'm like, oh, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. But man, it was so fun. And it's like such a good reminder of like, the new can be really fun. It can be intimidating and scary. Oh, I'm going to walk into this office space and this guy over here has been here for 14 years. He walked through this door for the first time at some point or another in his life. And so if you can like do that with a cohort, right? Whether or not you're going into the same job or not, but you're like going into this new experience, like, oh man, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. Oh, you got your first sale. Oh, you just opened up your first property or whatever it is. Like that is, it's for sure it's anxiety inducing. I'm anxious, but it's also exciting. And I feel like being able to do it with a group of good humans that sort of understand your user experience makes it a little bit less scary. Yeah,
for sure.
So,
but before we wrap it up, we're big golf guys. So I gotta talk to you about your golf game. I saw that you actually played with Wyndham Clark.
I did.
How was that?
Intimidating, ton of fun. Like in this, as I transitioned through sport, like I realized I love competing. Like in curling last night, like exactly. I got competitive, I'm just competitive in life. And so when I was getting ready to transition out of sport, I'm like, I need a competitive outlet. Like this is something that's important to me. And things that I'd done growing up, I raced bikes. I did some other things. Like they beat up on your body. It gets hard. And I was like, I love golf. I like found that niche and I didn't realize I'm like, I'm going to go out. I can go out and compete against myself every single time I play, or I can go out and compete against my buddies, which is like getting those competitive juices flowing. And so, through my success, I've been able to build some relationships. I had some introductions for this event in Colorado and Wyndham is from Colorado as well. And I got to meet him. You're a fan. I'm like a fan of Wyndham, right? The dude who won the US Open. Exactly. I'm like, this guy is elite. Started chatting and immediately we can build a connection right away of like, oh, you're an athlete, I'm an athlete. These are things. And like, like you get on the tee box, like I'm on his field of play. Right. Like you got to check your ego. Exactly. He plays with beginners all the time. Yeah. Like, man, it was so fun. Like golf to me is important. And like coming from snowboarding, right? Extreme sports, counterculture, punk rock. Yeah. Like, why are you playing golf? I'm like, because I love it. Yeah. Found my community there too. Being here at PAC, talking to these players, like, oh, you play golf? Yeah, I'm like a 14. I remember when I was a 14, like we should tee it up sometime. Like, golf has been like a really important avenue for me to like stay connected with the important part of me while continuing forward, building new relationships, going to see cool things, being able to compete against myself, against others. It's man, golf is like that's an important itch for me. For sure. I'm obsessed.
Me too. And I think as athletes, kind of what you were talking about, like the competitive component, right? Like you can compete against others, but really the game of golf is you versus you, right? And it's the time that you devote into improving your swing and improving the style of play, and it's just a constant evolution. Because even the best of the best, like you don't make it, right? It's like it's always this and always figuring out the putter may not be working or the driver may not be working. It's like, what do I got to do, right? And it's like putting all these pieces together. And I think golf is such like a symbolic avenue for life, where it's like you versus you out there, and it's based off of the time and effort and energy that you put in there. But it's also a great way to just disconnect, right? Like when you're on the course, the only thing on your mind is golf, right? It's like, what's the next shot? What's the next shot? And that's it.
Yeah. And it's it's so much fun to like progress and get better.
It is.
And the connections that you build out there,
Oh my
right?
God.
Like the people that I've met on the golf course,
Insane.
like going out as a single, getting paired up with randoms, like getting to interact with other athletes like Wyndham, like asking him questions like, yo, he is one of the best in the world. And I watched him mess it up.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
wait, you make mistakes. Like, come on, you're supposed to be the best at this.
Yeah.
And it reminds you, like, like when I was competing in snowboarding, like I was the best in the world. I made a lot of mistakes, right? And you can translate that into everything. And so like getting out to go and play golf and being like, yo, today wasn't my day, right? Tomorrow might be.
Exactly.
And just it's so much fun. You can build relationships and like connect with people from all different walks of life. And and I'm grateful. It's something I'm going to do for the rest of my life. For sure.
Yeah, it's addicting. But appreciate you for taking the time. Really, really enjoyed the conversation. Excited to see you and your progression in your life and just exactly what PAC's all about, right? Like what's next for everybody.
Yeah.
And being a part of this, having conversations like this are always insightful for me. You know, I always like love hearing people's stories. So to being able to share this moment with you is awesome.
Yeah, so much gratitude for PAC and what they've created here in this experience, and conversations like this, being able to share my story, hear other people's stories, connect with people, and feel like I'm not alone. Right? Because I know I'm coming off a high right now. Right? Like when you're coming off a high, there's only one place to go, and that's down. And now I have a group of people that can help me.
Exactly. Like, you have a backbone in all of this now.
Exactly. To correct that and like continue that motivation. We're all moving through this together. The accountability is immediate, right? Like we're downstairs like, hey, group meeting next week. What time of day works for you? All right, be there.
Absolutely.
Someone's not there, someone in my group, shoot them a text.
Accountability,
You coming? I want to see you there. And so that accountability like starts with those connection points, but also in like, what are you doing? Oh, you know, you're going into franchising. Like, have you opened anything up? Have you talked to anybody? And I'm excited to like, you know, take the energy that I've gotten here and apply it to other areas of my life.
Absolutely. No, it's awesome. It's always a powerful week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you again. And we'll see what's next in the chapter of life.
Exactly. Let's see what's next.
Awesome. Cool.